What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Sean O'Malley analyzes on Aljamain Sterling's post-fight weight. When Aljamain Sterling defeated TJ Dillashaw at UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi, everyone expected the champion to make a quick turnaround. After all, Dillashaw entered into the bout with a severely compromised shoulder, resulting in the challenger just landing 13 punches overall over the course of the two-round fight. In the wake of the bout, however, it seemed that wasn't the case. Sterling revealed that he was planning to take some time off. The way he explained things, champions only fight once a year, twice if fans are lucky. Naturally, that didn't sit too well with the MMA community, as many questioned why the champ would take so much time off following a fight he dominated. This week, Sean O'Malley spoke in a video about the situation, questioning why Sterling doesn't want to be an active champion like Israel Adesanya was. I heard Aljo say he was like 170 or something the other day. I'm like, what the f? No wonder he doesn't want to fight till July. Of course, regardless of what Sterling's plans were, the UFC ultimately booked the champion to defend his belt against the one and only Triple C, Henry Cejudo. The news surfaced late this week with Cejudo's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, breaking the news in the midst of Cejudo's trip to Chechnya to celebrate the birthday of notorious dictator Ramzan Kadyrov's son. Although the UFC has not formally announced when the two will throw down for the 135-pound title, the MMA community went wild. Given that Sterling is allegedly set to defend his belt against Cejudo, Sugar Sean O'Malley has been left without a fight. Only time will tell what's next for the bantamweight #1 contender, while Sterling and Cejudo determine the 135-pound champ. Joe Rogan weighs in on Dana White's Power Slap League. Recently, UFC President Dana White announced the launch of his Power Slap League for 2023. The promotion will host its inaugural event next year and will feature a tournament-style competition between athletes as they trade slaps to see who will be separated from their consciousness first. The announcement received mixed reviews, with many questioning what the whole point of the tournament was, given that there's no defensive aspect to the competition. On the flip side of things, others are eager to see who can deliver the most powerful slap on the planet. Longtime UFC commentator Joe Rogan wasn't interested by the competition. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, he spoke about the tournament, saying,
I love Dana, and I would be a hypocrite if I said I wouldn't watch this, because I will watch it. but this is not my cup of tea. What I like is problem solving. I like puzzles. I like you and Jan. I like this Russian assassin storming the gates at you, and you figuring a way to move around him and kick his legs and jab at him, and that's what I like. I love that fight. I love that fight. I love technique.
UFC President Dana White, on the other hand, is enthusiastic about the future of the competition. He explained recently that, in a world driven by social media, slap fighting is the ultimate viral competition. At the same time, he's confident that the tournament will also do some pretty good numbers on TV. So far, the promotion has failed to gain momentum on social media. Despite the UFC promoting the competition on its channels, the official Power Slap League account has just over 1,800 followers on Twitter. Will you be watching when the promotion hosts its opening event in January on TBS? Khabib Nurmagomedov talks about making history as a coach. Recently, Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin, Usman Nurmagomedov, defeated Patricky Pitbull to claim Bellator MMA gold. The win extended Usman's record to 16-0, marking his 5th straight win under the Bellator banner. It marked the latest string in a long reign of dominance for Dagestani fighters who have been trained by Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov and are now trained by Khabib Nurmagomedov. As the UFC Hall of Famer sees things, following his long and dominant career, it only makes sense that he's now extending that dominance to his run as a coach. He spoke during the recent appearance about the situation, saying,
And you know what interesting is like I coach not a lot of people. I coach like people who was around me. Like when I was active fighter, it's like this is like maybe 12, 15 guys. We like 13 people. We have combined win in MMA almost 300 fights, and this is crazy. Nobody ever did this in MMA before. It's never happened, you know, and I'm very happy because of this, because I know it was my father hard work, the way how he invest us, the way how he teach us, the way how he push us, you know, it's like everything right now, even now, his legacy keep going, you know.
As Nurmagomedov went on to point out, right now, his team currently holds the UFC Lightweight Championship and the Bellator MMA Lightweight Championship. This year has been a big one for Team Khabib. Prior to Usman Nurmagomedov's win over Patricky Pitbull, Nurmagomedov coached his longtime friend and training partner Islam Makhachev to victory over Charles Oliveira at UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. Next year, he'll look to keep it up when Makhachev squares off with Alexander Volkanovski in a highly anticipated clash of champions. In addition, Umar seems poised to climb the UFC's bantamweight ladder in the year to come. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Kamaru Usman's manager talks about drop in pound-for-pound rankings. Earlier this year, Kamaru Usman was on the wrong end of one of the most vicious knockouts in recent history. In the 5th round of a fight that he was winning by a pretty large margin, Usman found himself on the wrong end of a brutal head kick from Leon Edwards that immediately put him to sleep. The loss snapped a nearly decade-long win streak that saw Usman defend the welterweight title 5 times over a 2-year span. After the knockout, Usman dropped in the UFC's pound-for-pound rankings. Currently, he sits in 4th place behind Leon Edwards, Islam Makhachev, and Alexander Volkanovski. The way his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, sees things, there was no reason for Usman's pound-for-pound ranking to drop as a result of the knockout, given how long he reigned over the division.
One of the things I don't say, how Kamaru Usman become the number 4 or 5th pound-for-pound fighter? How? It's crazy. I think Kamaru should be number 2, even ahead of Islam. To be honest with you, the man lost second in the whole fight. Outside the first round, he was dominant, like in syrup or tequila or something, because they drunk. Because Kamaru Usman is the greatest fighter in the UFC today. I think he's the greatest fighter in the UFC today.
The pound-for-pound ranking system has been highly controversial. The original purpose was, it was a fun way to gauge who the best fighter in the world was based on their skills and dominance regardless of their size. Typically, when a fighter loses their pound-for-pound ranking, while the person who defeated them jumps up the list regardless of their previous record. For example, Leon Edwards, who wasn't on the pound-for-pound ladder prior to his win over Usman, quickly jumped up to the 3rd spot in the rankings. What do you think about the pound-for-pound rankings? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below and weigh in on the debate. And now for our breaking news story of the day.
Foi uma luta boa que a gente fez, meteu umas porradas ali, então ele acredita que pode ganhar de mim, então, pra mim é diferente, eu luto, não tem essa. E sabe, se tiver 2 pessoas e falar assim, tem o Adesanya e tem qualquer outra pessoa, você pode escolher. Cara, eu tô sendo sincero, eu vou escolher o Adesanya, por ele, entendeu? Porque se ele falar assim, Alex,
Curtis Blaydes reacts to potential Jon Jones fight. So far, there's been no official word on who Jon Jones will fight when he returns to the octagon. With the status of heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in question, talk of a backup opponent for Jon Jones' debut has begun to surface. After the promotion couldn't book the fight for the end-of-the-year UFC 282 card, they reportedly began to target a fight between Ngannou and Jones for 2023. At the same time, reports of Curtis Blaydes being the alternate fighter if Ngannou isn't ready quickly made the rounds. So far, there's been no word from the UFC as to whether or not a plan for Blaydes to fight Jones is in the works for 2023. Despite that, Blaydes weighed in on the rumor during a recent interview, saying,
That's about as far as I know as well, but seeing as how it's been reported on all these official MMA websites and authors and stuff, I think it's legit, and I'm gonna begin preparing when I get home. After the holidays, I'll be in camp mode or the mindset, so I'll be ready. We'll see what happens though.
Another reason the fight could wind up happening is Ngannou's ongoing contract disputes with the promotion. Although UFC President Dana White stated that the two are on good terms, and Ngannou said he and White are, quote, cool, the champion says his concerns haven't been remedied. With the UFC's current contracts, fighters cannot go and compete elsewhere. The way he explained things on a recent podcast, fighters earning $20,000 to show and $20,000 to win should be able to fight wherever they want between their scheduled UFC fights. If the UFC wants the champ to return to the octagon next year to fight Jon Jones, it sounds as though negotiations need to be held. Thank you so much for joining us today. What do you make of what's going on in the fight world? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all of the latest news from the MMA Zone. See you next time.